You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon freaks and geeks. This is another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon, the podcast where we go long on endurance and learn a little Zen along the way. All right, this is going to be a really interesting and actually a little bit of a short episode. It's very cool. I got invited to go swim with the Magnolia Masters in the Woodlands, home of Ironman, Texas. Woodlands, Texas, which is northwest of Houston. I actually grew up in the Woodlands evil twin, which is Kingwood, Texas, on the northeast side of town of Houston for many years, and grew up on swim teams there. So it was kind of neat to go over to the Woodlands and swim with the group. And it's a triathlon swimming training camp that Tim Floyd puts on, and Tim Floyd is renowned for, I don't know if I'd call it fixing, maybe it's fixing triathletes, pro and elite and age groupers all the way through to improve their swim or to greatly improve people's swim for triathlon. And a lot of people go there to train to improve their swim in the triathlon off season, kind of like in the winter months, and it's in Houston, so it's a pretty good outdoor training environment. So pros come down and train there, and then they can do like a homestay with somebody and go biking and running around in a nice, pleasant environment. Especially because the Woodlands is all like pine forest and bike trails and running trails, and it's really nice. And it's actually pretty close to the Houston International Airport, Bush International Airport. So actually, speaking of that, my wife is flying through there actually right now on her way back from El Paso. But anyway, Kai and I went down there to go hang out and just do like one swim practice, and then interview some of the people that were there, and also get some swim tips from the coach, super coach to the superstars, Tim Floyd. All right, so we're going to talk with him a little bit with an interview, and then also interview some of the other pros and elites that are there and get a little background on them. It's just a few. And then I have, after that, some tips that he gave me after he watched me swim some, which is really interesting. We didn't do like a major swim practice. It was actually like an easy swim practice, thank God, because I already swam, I think, earlier that day or the day before, and these guys are pretty epic. So let's swing on over to the pool, and I'm interviewing people. I think it's after we finished swimming. I grabbed my microphone and started interviewing people left and right. It's really cool. All right, here we go. All right, I'm here finally with Tim Floyd. I did one of your open water swims at, do you do the Tortuga?
Yeah, Snapping Tortuga.
Yeah. At Lake Conroe one time.
Yeah.
About killed me.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, so. 5K, 2.5K, and we have 1250. So, just a little triangle course in Lake Conroe.
Yeah, with a inflatable turtle at the end of it.
Yep, exactly.
You have to swim between the turtles or something?
You have to swim between the turtles. Yeah, exactly.
See, I've been there, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the Magnolia Masters swim camp.
Yeah.
I'm here at the tail end of it.
You're here at we've got about a day and a half left.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're doing morning and evening or afternoon practices.
Yep. So we go an hour and a half in the morning, and then we go an hour in the afternoon.
Yeah. So how did this get started, and how long have you been doing it for?
Yeah, so the first one was in 2015, and it was when I was coaching a lot of pros, and we just decided, most of them needed help with their swim. That was kind of where their weakness was. So we just decided, hey, let's put a camp together. We'll come down in the beginning part of the season when, you don't really have to do a lot of biking and running, and we can really just focus on the swim, trying to get some improvements in what they were doing.
So what do you see Because I've known about you coaching pros for a long time.
Yeah.
And that seems like a specialty of yours. I don't know if you're fixing the pros, but a lot of pros don't have a swimming background, and you're like helping them out.
Yeah.
So what do you normally see that they need to work on?
I mean, so typically, the first camp we ever did was 3 weeks long, and it was long. I mean, it was long. I remember, some of the guys we were all dragging at the end because I was coaching a lot. I was coaching at night too, so it was a lot of on deck time and just a lot of intensity. And but yeah, typically what I see with the pros is that if they don't come from a swimming background, they really don't know. They don't have a sense of what the guys that are swimming in the front pack in triathlon had to do to get to swim in the front pack in the triathlon.
Right.
Because a lot of those guys came from swimming backgrounds, or they started, in triathlon as a youth, and came up and had everything that they needed in swimming to be in the front pack. So a lot of times they just don't have a concept really of the amount of work, the amount of focused work, how hard it has to be to improve.
Right.
Because a lot of times you'll see like, oh, we'll just go 10 400s, for the kind of traditional kind of Ironman training swim. And everyone's kind of like, well, just keep it aerobic. And then they're like, I don't know why my stroke's not getting better. I don't know why I'm not
trying hard enough.
You're just not swimming hard enough.
Because I remember on swim team growing up, because I was on swim team since I was 9.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. Like you had to have help sometimes to get out of the pool.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
And I think a lot of age groupers don't know that. Is my perception is that you can work that hard in the pool.
Yeah, you can work that hard in the pool. And the biggest thing is it's learning how to be, and this is actually a really tough thing, it's learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable in the water.
Right.
And that could be kind of a threatening thing when you feel like you're right on the edge. So you don't want to, you don't want to have like a wave come in, hit you in the mouth and swallow water because you're right on the edge. So yeah, it's getting comfortable with being uncomfortable in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, a good example is Patrick. We were doing some 25s the other day, and he was going kind of 15, 16 on the 25s, and we just got him to focus a little bit more, gave him a little kind of stroke correction on what to do. And when he kind of really mentally engaged, you were what, 13.8 on the one? 13.6. So
he knows.
Yeah. I mean, that's a monumental difference for a 25.
Yeah.
And, but if you think about that if you just go into practice then with that kind of mentality for every set that you do when you go into swim, and then you extend that over the course of a season, you're going to see some pretty significant gains by the end of the season. Now, the tough part is kind of training that mental focus, that drive in the water to, really swim hard and be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I remember on swim team, it would just burn in the shoulders so much. But if you wait at the wall for a little bit, it'll go away and you can do it again. Yeah. But I think a lot of people that haven't been on a swim team don't know that.
No, they don't.
They start approaching that and then they back off.
Yep.
Without going to that point.
Yeah, because so much of basically kind of really good learning how to swim really well is it's technique, but you can't get the training without the technique.
Yeah.
You can't get to the technique without the training. Yeah. It's not like they exist independent of one another.
All right. What's her name? I didn't catch it again.
Lara Matthews.
Laura. Hello. Hi, I'm Brett. Sorry. You're making a drink. What's in the drink?
Just electrolytes.
Just electrolytes? Some kind of noon or something like that? Yeah. So are you, what kind of races do you do?
I do 70.3s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I looked you up. I remember now. Yeah. What's your best result so far?
I was 4th at Challenge Daytona in December.
Okay. And why did you come to the swim camp?
I was a year-round swimmer growing up, and but when I started really focusing on the run and the bike, my swim got a lot worse. So I'm putting in a big swim block right now to try to get back to
So you're getting ahead of the season a little bit and catching up with swimming. So does that work in a way that then you don't have to worry so much about the swim the rest of the season as much as you normally would? Because you spent time early on?
I mean, I think it'll give me a good foundation for my swim, but it's something that is going to take time to get back to where I was.
So you were a year-round swimmer. What was your specialty and time?
400 IM, the mile,
wow.
and the 500.
Wow. Okay, so distance swimmer. Okay. I'm always impressed by that. I was a sprinter. So, what's your next race?
I'm doing 70.3 Campeche in March.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good day. So, Patrick, nice to meet you. I'm Brett.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
So, you're a 70.3
Yeah.
and Ironman.
I've done a few Ironmans,
Yeah.
but mostly 70.3.
So, what's your best result so far?
This year I had a 5th in Coeur d'Alene, 70.3.
Okay. Excellent.
Then 12th at Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Ironman.
Why did you come to the swim camp?
For me, I've never done anything like this, swimming this much volume, but more importantly, swimming hard repeatedly with a coach on deck to tell you when things are kind of failing or going south versus just thinking about, going harder, or if you're by yourself, you kind of back off a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
So it was recommended to me, and I thought it'd be a good experience.
So, is he a mean coach? Is
No.
he a classic swim coach where they scream at you
No,
and
not
throw their
at all.
coffee cup across the pool?
I was waiting for, some sassy comments or something like that. But
He didn't
it
throw
never
a kickboard at
happened.
you or anything?
No. The worst thing that happened
Man,
is,
he must be getting soft, I think.
Yeah. I think the worst thing is when you have to get out of the pool because you're just too tired and you're not.
Oh,
able
you
to-
pull people out.
That-
Yeah? You're just like, you're done.
It's, it's hard on the ego.
Oh, that's
but
great.
about it.
Yeah, we didn't have that when I was on swim team.
Yeah.
Nice. I could have used that because I separated my shoulder. Or I got a slap tear in my shoulder.
Do you?
Yeah, from swimming so much and too hard.
Yeah.
Coach could have pulled me out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your next race?
Probably Oceanside 70.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to take on Sanders going to do that one?
Yeah, we'll start with them.
Yeah. Well, you'll probably, with this swim camp, you'll probably be ahead of the,
That'd be good.
you might be ahead of Lionel
Yeah.
on
That'd be
the,
good.
on the swim at least.
Yeah. I was
And then
with
he'll go
him,
by at like 1,000 miles per hour and
That's right,
500 watts on the bike.
That's right. Yeah. You just get right behind him though, and you'll be
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
So you didn't have a swim background growing up?
No, I started triathlon when I was 24 and got in the pool and swam 25 yards and stopped at the other end and said, what the heck did I just get myself into? And
Yeah, it's really hard.
and then for seriously maybe the next 4 or 5 years I just never took it serious. I avoided it because it's such in your head. You tell yourself it's a small percentage of the race and you can overcome it, and to some degree in amateur racing you can, but in pro racing now with the legal draft distance, it doesn't matter. You have no chance unless you're in a group.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago I was like, I either have to focus on swimming or get out of the sport. And
Yeah. It was 2 years ago?
2 or 3 years ago probably, yeah.
So it took me a few years. I was a swimmer and a biker growing up, and I was a good runner, but I never really did much of it.
Yeah.
So the run in triathlon was always my weakest.
Yeah.
And getting passed constantly towards the end of the run was really demotivational. And
Yeah.
but eventually I fell in love with the run. Have you fallen in love with swimming yet?
Well, that's been a big thing. I used to hate swimming, and I used to tell myself I was a bad swimmer, and that was a recipe for just negative self-talk and not wanting to go to the pool, not wanting to do the grind that you have to go through to improve in swimming. So that was a huge mental side of it. And once I kind of made the turn, which really happens when you start seeing improvements, then you get excited about it.
Yeah.
You go to the pool, and then you don't stand on the start line at races looking around saying, I'm the worst swimmer here.
Yeah.
'Cause that's just, you're going to lose right
Yeah.
away. And so from that, I guess I do love
I think it's when
swimming
you
more
start
now.
seeing you're right. It's when
Yeah.
you start seeing improvements in any sport, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can actually do this.
Right, for sure. And it's a big mental thing. Same thing with running, the moment you in a race, you finally run what you think you're capable of. It's almost like you cleared that barrier, and
Yeah.
it's going to happen more easily every time, and then you
Yeah.
set up another barrier to try
Yeah.
to reach. I
You
think
do-
swimming's the same way.
You do coaching too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's your coaching website?
It's patrickbradycoaching.com.
What do you specialize in coaching?
It's triathlon mostly, but I do individual sport stuff. I have some Cat 1 cyclists and some pretty good runners and stuff like that. I've coached a few pro triathletes currently. I have one pro and a couple elite amateurs that could race pro. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to
See
meet you.
around.
Thanks.
And then there's Matthew,
Yes.
and you're an ITU racer, or
Yes, sir. Trying to be.
trying to
Getting
be.
there.
So
yeah.
what do you have to do to do you have to get a pro card? Or?
You do, yeah. So there's a couple of different ways you can qualify for your pro card. So I qualified at an Escape Series race in Des Moines
yeah.
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I did one at Kima. So,
okay,
and
yeah.
you did too.
Yeah,
You-
yeah.
Where'd Kai go? Oh, my son's around somewhere.
He's right there. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. That was his first ocean swim. Well, bay swim.
Yeah, but still, Kima's rough waters.
Yeah.
So
Can be, yeah.
So I qualified as being one of the top 3 amateurs,
Uh-huh.
and you have to come within, I think, like 8% of the winner's time. So that's how I got mine. And then, took my pro card and did my first draft legal race in Santo Domingo a couple of months later, and did all right. It's very different from non-draft racing. The swim is much more important. You have to make that swim pack, otherwise your race is pretty much over.
There's a lot of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I watch them come out of the water, and if you're in that second pack, if you're not with the first pack, you've got to overcome all that air resistance from the second pack to bridge to the first, and it's almost impossible because they're all drafting off of each other. They're a minute ahead or 30 seconds ahead or something.
The first pack will always work hard to keep whoever is behind them off. Because
there's some probably scary
there's probably
runners
some good runners in there. So the second pack, their whole thing is just, let's work as hard as we can and try to bridge that gap. And it can be tough. Some guys will maybe not want to work as hard as others, so you do have to kind of, yell
Brownlee
at
yelling at people.
And, exactly. Like that happens across the board with everyone. So, if you don't pull your weight, you might get called out.
So the yelling at each other is actually because of nervousness about the other bike packs catching up, I guess. With potential running threats or cycling threats.
Exactly. It's a lot of fear of other guys catching up to you, and then it's also no one wants to work harder than they have to, especially when you're pulling other guys. It was a big learning lesson for me. It was definitely a good experience builder, and moved on, took my off season and really tried to focus on the swim because that's my weak sport out of the three. And then 2018 did a couple early season races. Still wasn't quite where I wanted to be. So took the rest of the season to really just kind of train through it. And then just a couple months ago started working with James Peterson, who's the head coach at Nor'easter Tri up in Boston. So he's been helping me and getting me ready for this upcoming season. So we're looking at possibly Sarasota, which is another Cam Tri draft legal race. But at the latest, we'll probably do Richmond in like April or May. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. I haven't raced in a while, so I've got that itch in me to kind of get back out there.
Well, that's good, because then that'll carry you through the season when it starts to suck.
Exactly. So I feel like I've been, I feel like I've been training a lot, and I'm ready to kind of see what it's all been going towards.
So was there anything that Coach Floyd over there told you that you need to work on in your swim? Did he point out anything?
We've gone over a lot together.
He pointed out a lot of it.
Swimming was by far my weakest. The only experience I had with swimming before triathlon was just playing in the pool with my siblings. So there was, plenty of room for improvement. And so the biggest thing...
My older brother used to see how long he could shove me underwater and hold me there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm perfect for open water.
Yeah. If you're not confident in open water, it's a very scary place to be. And that was a big thing for me, was just kind of overcoming that nervousness and just learning that, okay, you're going to be all right. You just got to keep moving forward. And, you'll be out of the water and 10, 15 minutes, however long the race is, and then you're on land and you're safe.
So, hey, Coach, what do you do when you train him versus like the Ironman athletes as far as sets?
So here would be the thing, is that at the end of the day, most of the time there's not enough time. Because effectively, if you look at how a swim coach would look at a 750 through a 3.8K swim, those would all be distance swimmers, and if you're a swim coach with a distance swimmer, well, you typically, if you're trying to basically compete at an elite level, they're training 20, 25 hours a week in swimming. With the Ironman guys, we're looking at typically 6 to 8. With the ITU guys, it's a little bit more, but not much. So you're looking at basically, what do you do on half the amount of training that you'd normally have to train a distance swimmer? And so
it's the same amount of time, you said, like as an Ironman. So they're doing 6 to 8 hours. Is it more intensity and more
Well,
time?
I mean, in all honesty, none of them across the board, from ITU to Ironman, are doing enough swimming to be as efficient as they could be.
Right.
So it's all basically trying to be then, as the coach, as efficient as you can be with the time. So yeah, intensity's got to go up because, if you look at traditionally swimming, it's either a volume approach,
right,
or an intensity approach. So it's kind of like the, Mark Schubert, Mission Viejo kind of school of thought, or the Dave Salo, Brent Rushall, USRPT school of thought.
Right.
And so, I've kind of settled on kind of a middle path between those, where, we go up and we do a lot of intensity at some points, and then we come back down and, just do a little bit more traditional swimming. So just to make it a little bit, and then try to work on technique the whole time.
So you've had to learn all the different strokes as an adult.
Sort of. I mean, I mostly stick to just freestyle and backstroke. I mean, no one's swimming butterfly in the open water.
Yeah. So you don't do you don't mix in.
No,
you can do choice if they want to do butterfly.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to. But, again, if we are not in the water enough, and I understand kind of the thinking within swimming around, hey, you're swimming 20, 25 hours a week. It's good to kind of mix it up, balance out the stroke a little bit more. But if you're not in the water enough to basically for the freestyle that you're doing to begin with,
okay,
why would you kind of take time away from working on freestyle?
Start with freestyle because that's what you're going to be racing.
Yeah,
do as much of that as possible.
Yeah.
And the other strokes, like I find doing breaststroke is as I get close to a race.
Yeah.
Is good because you're treading water, waiting for the race to start, and when they say go, if it's a deep water start, then that acceleration off of that breaststroke kick in those first few strokes is good.
Yeah, and then backstroke's good if you've been doing a lot of training because it's the exact opposite muscles to freestyle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you can sometimes get that pull on the front of the chest.
Shoulders.
Yeah, and so one of the things if you do backstroke, you can then kind of do the opposite direction, opposite muscles, the opposing muscles to that to kind of open things up a little bit.
Yeah, my brother was an excellent backstroker, and he's older, so they figured I'd be one too. So I grew up racing backstroke and not as good. But coaches see somebody doing it, and they're like, "Oh, he's got potential."
Yep.
They race you to death.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. Okay, so what was your next races again?
Probably Richmond in April, but if I race before that, it'll be Sarasota in March.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. I'm ready to get back out there and see if I can duke it out with the big boys and go from there.
So do you have a website or a Twitter handle or Instagram? Anybody can follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram.
Your fan club.
Yeah, on it's just Matthew_purchase. And then I run a youth and junior triathlon team here in the Woodlands. It's called Mach 5. So you can just look that up. And I'm the head coach there. And then Michelle LeBlanc runs the.
I thought you were from Boston. You're from the Woodlands?
No, I'm from here. Okay. My coach just works out of Boston. So yeah.
Did you ever hear my son was on Trinity?
I actually coached your son in College Station for a little bit when he was on Trinity. Yeah. So I worked with him and a couple college buddies.
Oh, Colin. I heard you say Colin.
Yeah, Colin, Briley. I can't remember the other
that's cool.
younger boys. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, he's grown up.
Yeah, he has for sure. I almost didn't recognize him. I saw him.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah,
good luck
talking to you. Thank you.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So after that, Coach Floyd and I talked for a little bit on the pool deck and discussed some things. And then we went to a coffee shop, to a Starbucks around the corner, and had some chocolate chip cookies. And he showed me some cool stuff, which I'll tell you about in a second. But we were there with Kai. And again, I really want to mention thank you to Coach Floyd for inviting me down. And this is a swim camp that he puts on in the winter. So, oh man, that was a loud ding. So we have people to, if you have people that want to go, then look for his Magnolia Masters swim camp. It looks like he's doing it every winter. And also he runs a swim team and all that good stuff. So you can reach out to him. He's easy to find. And he also puts on open water swim races in Lake Conroe and maybe some other places too. All right. He told me 3 things that I wanted to tell everybody here. In swimming, the killer app is 100s on an interval, which is kind of cool because I do a version of that I talk about already too much. But he has them do, let's say you're going to do 100s on a 130. I think we were doing them on the practice I was at, we did them like out on 140, and it was just easy, just swimming along at a 140. But you finish at 130, and then, or whatever it takes for you to finish, and you wait a few seconds, and then leaving on the 140 is what they call it. And that was really nice. And I don't know, I did like, let's say 8 of those, something, but some variety mixed in, and then did some other stuff. So I asked him what was the longest he has people swim, and he said actually 100 yards. Mostly, except for like warm-ups. We did some 200s and 300s and stuff like that. But the killer app is to do 100s on an interval, and the interval has you, and you tighten down the interval over time. And actually I found that is one of my favorite things to do. You can really tell what kind of swim shape you're in, and for race day. And then also it allows you to do overspeed. So you get faster by going faster than you need to in a race. And then you have this little bit of rest time. You have like 10 seconds rest, then you do it again. And then you can recover at the wall over and over and over again as you do these 100s, going faster than your race pace. And it works. It works great. And he said he likes to do big sets of that. So 10 100s on a 130, if you're into that kind of thing. 10 100s on a 140, 10 100s on a 135. People start getting really fast. They start doing 10 100s on a 120 and 5 100s on a 115. It's good stuff. All right, let's see. One interesting thing that he noticed about me was he said, "Did you used to swim a lot with a pool boy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." The years that where I really focused in high school and then got faster, and built upper body strength, I did a lot of swimming with pool boys. Our coach had us do it some, and then I did it even more because it worked for me for sprinting, because you're building a lot of just upper body strength to power through the water like a motorboat. And he said that he could tell that I let my lower half, my legs kind of dangle behind me and not use them very much. And I said, "Well, what's the problem with that?" And he said, "It actually makes you kind of floppy in the water and makes you swim side to side, like snake through the water a little bit, because you're not engaging your abs and your legs as much, and engaging your abs and legs more. Of course, it'll make you faster, by kicking a little bit more, but it straightens you out, and it in a weird way, it kind of like it provides a rudder for you to go straight. And the more time you spend swimming straight is the faster you get, because you're not swimming side to side as much. And I was like, oh, cool. So that gave me something to work on, was working on kicking just a little bit more and not relaxing my legs so much. And then at the coffee shop that we went to, he pulled out this iPad and then this headband, and he started talking to me about this Flow app that he's been working with. And people need to reach out to him to find out more about it, because I don't want to take away from he's doing a lot of work with it. And it was really, really cool. He showed me, it's one of these headbands that you can measure your brain waves. And when you're measuring your brain waves, you can do like a little bit of biofeedback and learn to calm down and kind of get into a flow state. And I think that's one of the reasons he invited me to go, because to be there and swim, because he knows I'm actually kind of into this stuff. And when you're in a flow state, you're way more relaxed, and less of your energy goes to thinking about things you don't need to think about, and more into just being natural and relaxed. And he showed me the coolest graphs of elite athletes, like a marathoner and some other people, their heart rate and speed before and after training with this thing. So they train with it, not while working out, I think. You might be able to do it on the bike maybe on the run while on a treadmill or something like that. But anyway, or on a bike trainer. But anyway, you train with it and learn to bring yourself into a flow state and be more relaxed. And then on race day or during workouts, you do the same thing that worked when you weren't training, and it works while you're training, and then you are burning fewer calories doing the wrong thing, and then that makes you more efficient going forward and makes you faster. And the graphs were incredible. His one athlete showed me his heart rate was so much lower, like 15 beats lower at the same speed after training with this thing. And then he used it in a race and went way faster. Oh man, it was really, really neat. And after seeing that and hanging out with him, I started doing it in training. I've been like, okay, get relaxed, get out of the fight or flight mode and get more into the rest and digest mentally, and just relax, listen to some music and everything, let your heart rate come down, but keep your form. Keep a good form, but just relax and relax and relax, but with good form. And heart rate comes down, and you just kind of get in this flow, and you do your workout, and it becomes so wonderful. And I think, I've already recorded it, but I think at the end of this podcast, I mention it. I'm swimming, and I think it's like the very next thing, and I'm done swimming, and I'm just like so relaxed because I did a meditative state, and it's kind of like flow state swim, and it was just wonderful. So those were the three things. The 100's on an interval. Don't do too much pool boy. Work on your abs and your kick as well. And then try to get into a flow state and reach out to Coach Tim Floyd and ask him about this flow app. The big application for it is golf, right? And triathlon is kind of like, it's like breaking new ground to apply it to triathlon. It's pretty neat. All right, so that's it about Magnolia Masters. Let's hop on over to a very short training log in the end of the show. Here we go. All right, this is really a good swim episode. Leaving the pool on my way to W to the ERK, and just had a fantastic kind of meditative swim, playing around with some tips from Coach Floyd. There's the total immersion style, which may work for a lot of people. I have a little bit of asthma, and I have a slow turnover, so I need more oxygen, I guess, than the average person. You know, if you have a slower turnover, you have long arms, which makes for slower turnover, then you don't breathe as frequently. Like your breathing rate, number of breaths per minute actually slows down. And anyway, I found that I swim faster if I arch my back, push my chest down, but push my look forward more, and that opens up my chest. Kind of stretches me out. Probably lifts my legs up a little bit, and then also Tim Floyd said, got to get on the surf, get up on top of the water. A lot of coaches say that, which is kind of the opposite of total immersion. Total immersion works really good. You're kind of working to stay under the surface of the water. And I was playing around with that back and forth just a tiny bit. Because it stopped. I started having trouble breathing. While I was swimming, I started doing the head down and trying to look down, so the water would go more smoothly over the back of my head. And started running out of air. I started slowing down and gasping for air a little bit, and wasn't able to swim as relaxed and as powerful and casually and glide. And so I went back to swimming facing forward a little bit, getting the upper body, the head and shoulders on the surface of the water more. And all of a sudden I'm zipping along again, picking up the pace. 1:23, 1 minute 23 seconds average pace per 100 yards for an hour, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Ended up being 4,300 yards. Just smooth. Had a couple people in my lane every once in a while. And was just listening to Buddhist geeks, and that's a pretty good podcast. And I'm going to post on Instagram the episode. It was 36 minutes in. It was really good. There was like a little mindset about being fixated on, too fixated on deep work, and being locked into one thing, when the reality is there isn't just one thing for long periods of time. There's the one thing right now, but then there's another thing, and then there's another thing, that is so zen. What's the most important thing? This one thing. Okay, but then what's the most important thing right now? Well, that's a different thing. Here goes an ambulance. Emily's out of town in El Paso, so I know it's not going for her. Anyway, that wraps up the episode, and I can tell I'm just like in a nice mood, nice, rested, even after I swam like that, because the breathing was just so nice. Like we talked about with earlier in the episode about trying to get in the zone. I was kind of doing that, kind of by accident, actually, now that I think about it. And yeah, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm ZenTriathlon on Instagram and on Twitter. I do most stuff by Instagram, and then I have it set to repost to Twitter and to Facebook. I don't really do Facebook, but there's that, and then the website, ZenTriathlon.com, and got a couple sponsors out there. We got Salt Stick, got Amrita bars, and we need to get Speedhound on. We got their compression legging things. It's really nice. Kai's been using them for, he's running his ass off for track, and I've had a lot of success lately with switching back to Adidas Ultra Boost, but not just instead of the Ultra brand Escalantes, which are fantastic shoes, by the way. They are my favorite because they're super cushy and they're light. The thing is they don't have any arch support. This is what I figured out. My foot keeps hurting off and on pretty bad, and I notice that my foot's rolling in, and I need arch support on my right foot. And Adidas Ultra Boost ST, the ST stands for stability. So they have a built-up arch that keeps your foot from rolling in, and my right foot rolls in, and it helps a ton. The problem is they're heavy, man, for me, compared to what they could be. Put them on, and I just feel like, ugh. But then I run faster, so I don't know. I guess the goal is to run faster and injury-free, so I got those going on. But the last few runs have been faster, injury-free, and all because of that arch. And I was really lucky. I had a pair of these old ones just laying around, and I threw them on and then went for a run, and then I was like, oh my God. I found another missing piece of the puzzle to fixing my plantar fasciitis. Foot rolls in, and then it pulls down on the arch and the tendon and starts pulling it apart, and makes for heel pain and everything else like that. It's no good. And then last night, got on the bike to ride, and I noticed I was sore. I did a low cadence ride a couple of days ago before that, so 3 days ago now, and my legs were still sore. So I did about 40 minutes, and then just, my numbers were good, but I was just sore, like it was painful, and it wasn't fun. And I was like, oh, that's a bad sign. You don't want to do that. And killed it off. That's a sign of maturity in triathlon, is being able, you look for one is knowing the signs that you don't need to train. And then the hard one for me and most people is, even if you know the signs, is doing the right thing. Appropriate response, the Zen thing, which is stopping. A lot of us see the signs that something hurts, like my right shoulder was hurting a little bit today. Swam anyway. we'll see what happens. But if legs are sore, well, if your muscles are all banged up and sore, you're really not going to improve anything. They're still healing. It's not all that smart. So there's two things. Just take a break, and then also don't go quite as hard as you did the last time. If it's going to make you sore, still 2-3 days later. All right, that is it. Everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills. Cruise the downhills. And keep the rubber side down. Out.